27 years ago, the world was a very different place. Emission standards were just starting to pick up strength. Broadband internet was a non-existent word, and the device that you're probably watching this on was something straight out of science fiction movies or TV shows. The Indian automotive scene was just picking up at that time, and everyone was taking advantage of the recently liberalized economy. And one of the first to jump on that bandwagon was Honda with this car, the City. Now, nearly 3 decades later, we are here with the 5th generation car, and this one is a bit special because it's been in our CarWale long-term garage and we've spent some time with the vehicle. Today, we're going to tell you 5 things that we like about this petrol manual Honda City and 2 things that we think Honda should work on with this car in the future. Before we jump into our 5+2 of this petrol Honda City, here are the facts and figures. Launched in 2023, this midlife update is priced in the range of Rs 11.82 lakh to Rs 16.35 lakh ex-showroom. There are 5 trim levels across 16 variants and with one petrol engine that can be had with both automatic and manual options. All the details on this petrol manual Honda City are available on our website carwale.com. The overall shape of the Honda City, the one that you're seeing in the video, has been in force since 2020 with this 5th generation car. There was a minor update last year with a few tweaks. Some of the major highlights, let's start at the front. Rectangular headlamps with LED inserts, large chrome grille that has a traditional premium appeal. Move on to the side and you can see these diamond cut alloy wheels that again have a very traditional design. The rear is where maximum changes seem to have come with this facelift. You get a nice rear wing, you get these 4 carbon fiber elements in the bumper to give it that sporty appeal, and of course you have Honda's signature wraparound tail lamps. Honda in fact was the first one to bring them to the budget segment. However, the thing that endears the appeal of the Honda City is the fact that it's a sedan in a sea of SUVs and crossovers. For those that grew up in the 90s and early 2000s, a sedan represented an upward aspiration in terms of owning a car. And those very people today are 2nd and 3rd generation car owners who had dreams of owning a car like the Honda City when they were growing up. Step into this cabin of the Honda City, especially in the front seats, and there's quite a few elements to catch your attention. You get a beige over black combination with these 4 wood inserts and a decent level of plastics. It's actually more of a mixed bag with some high quality ones where your eyes travel and not so great ones in non-contact surfaces. The overall appeal is quite good with enough space for both occupants, and it feels airy and nice thanks to a large glass area and the presence of a sunroof on this top spec version. The appeal of a car like the Honda City has always been to those looking to jump into the chauffeur-driven market for the first time, and in that it offers a pretty decent rear seat package. You get more than enough space for 2 occupants to sit comfortably, though a third one can come along, but if you notice that the seat base is high and you have AC vents that kind of reduce the space, for 2 people really not an issue. Headroom, shoulder room, knee room, really not a problem. Some of the major features here include seat back pockets, rear AC vents, 12-volt sockets for charging, a central armrest with cup holders, and 1-liter bottle holders in both the doors. Now, as a car to drive, this petrol manual Honda City, you can look at it from 2 perspectives. One is about the powertrain, or rather it's only offered with a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine that's been the mainstay of the Honda City for a really long time now. And there was a time when it was offered with VTEC, but now it's iVTEC, and iVTEC has been around for almost 13-14 years now. 114 bhp, 145 Nm of torque, and you can either have it with a CVT or a 6-speed manual, which is what is there in our video today. After driving for 78 kilometers in the city used 7.06 liters of petrol, and that gave us a real-world mileage of 11.03 kmpl. And on the driver's display, it showed an average fuel efficiency of 11.7 kmpl. For the highway test, we drove around 91 kilometers on the expressway, and it took 4.92 liters of fuel, resulting in a tested mileage of 18.39 kmpl. Meanwhile, the mileage shown on the MID at that time was 19.39 kmpl. So with a combined mileage of 13.30 kmpl in the real world and a tank capacity of 40 liters, the City Manual has a driving range of 535 kilometers, which is really not bad at all. Now, the engine to use, especially with the 6-speed manual gearbox, feels not that tight as it would be if you drive the automatic and manual back to back. You'll feel that the car was designed to be used with the automatic way more than the manual. The manual isn't particularly slick and the clutch feels heavy. For want of better term, the bite point is at a weird place, which means that more often than not you are going to have a little bit of jerky shifts, but it works, right? The appeal of this engine lies in the fact there's a nice way in which the torque is distributed in this gearbox, which means that for you to go to 6th gear, you need to be doing 80 and above, which is where highway speeds start, which means that it's a relatively tight box and easy for you to drive in the city without any problems, right? You can see that it gives you a pretty decent mileage figure too. That means it's been tuned with that aspect. Now, that being said, it's a rev happy engine, even though it's naturally aspirated. Picks up nicely, and when you need to go, that's all you need to do, and it just spools up and takes off, right? Very nice distribution of torque. The other aspect that comes into play for this is ride quality, and that's something the city has done pretty decently. Really not issues. It rides mostly flat, bumps, imperfections, but this is a sedan with lesser ground clearance than what you'd get with most average SUVs, which means that you do have to be careful of large potholes, large ruts and things like that. Now, especially in this one where it gets those 4 aero elements that kind of stick out a little bit, you need to be careful that you don't scrape as you're going through bumps and imperfections and ruts and things like that. The steering is overly assisted. It's light, it doesn't give much feel, but it's effortless to use, right? U-turns, parallel parking, really not an issue, very convenient to drive. Now, we had taken the diesel version of this 5th generation Honda City to the racetrack in 2021, and it was a surprising charmer in the way that the diesel engine responded, but also in the fact that it was a very forgiving car to drive when you pushed it to the limit. It gave you that margin to be able to push it, and you'd understand where the car is going to let go quite clearly. Surprisingly, on track it responded well. It wasn't the most dynamic, and funnily enough, it was the only diesel car that we had on track, and it was a unique experience in driving it. Now, we have our track day video from 2021, and also we have done a story, the link to which you can find in the description below. One of the USPs of this Honda City Petrol Manual is the fact that it's the only sedan in the market today that offers level 2 ADAS with a manual transmission. Honda was one of the first to bring ADAS to the budget segment. Honda Sensing, as they call it, is a level 2 ADAS system, which means that you get adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keep assist, a blind spot monitor on the left side, and of course collision mitigation system. Nowadays, level 2 ADAS also includes a rear cross traffic alert, rear collision alert, which this car doesn't have but its rivals have. We probably expect that it will come to it in the future. This car also doesn't have a 360-degree camera. That's one of the missing feel-good features that works into the improving how the ADAS functions. But it has level 2 ADAS and with the manual transmission. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to enable all the ADAS functions available with this car, and then we're going to go out on the road and see how each of them function. Now I can enable how far I want it to sensor. There's a camera here, and if I choose something far away, depending on the vehicle in front, it will either speed up or slow down and keep me going. Now, issue is not that the ADAS doesn't work. It's pretty decent that way. The thing is, it's not particularly refined because it's a manual transmission, and Honda is yet to calibrate it efficiently, uh, not as tightly as how it would work with the CVT or the eHEV system. It's working effectively, but you need to be alert. And we have had issues in the past where other members of our team have told us that if you don't switch off the cruise control while you're driving, the emergency braking comes on and it catches you completely by surprise at times, which in our traffic scenario can be quite confusing given the way people drive and the general lack of discipline. But this works. You really don't have an issue. You can see that I enabled a speed, if you saw like a little bit ago, I enabled a speed of 38 kilometers an hour, but it's picked up on the vehicles in front and adjusted my speed accordingly. As I pull up to the vehicles in front, you can notice that it's either speeding up or slowing down depending on the speed of that vehicle, again based on the camera system that's going on. Now you can see that I got the lane departure to work, right? It keeps you in your line and also gives you like a little vibration in the steering wheel if you veer off course, though the system is such that if you do it too many times, it then has to reset, right? So lane departure warning gives you. But the catch with the lane departure and lane keep system is that it only works above 70 kilometers an hour. So it's more of a tool for you to use on the highway than in city streets and in city conditions. Lastly, I forgot to add earlier that you also get a low speed follow, which means that you can use the cruise control system at speeds of 30 kilometers and above for you to be able to use it effectively in the city, which means that previously cruise controls were usually relegated to highway where you need to go a little faster, but they have developed the system to work at lower speeds, making it convenient for you to drive in the city. While it may be the first in segment MT with ADAS, Honda does have some work to do with regard to getting the system to calibrate with the manual gearbox. In the automatic and hybrid versions, the camera-based ADAS is very effective and really does improve your driving experience. The car that we're driving in the video today is the top of the line ZX Petrol Manual. This means you get all the bells and whistles that Honda offers with this car, the likes of which include a semi-digital instrument cluster, a touchscreen infotainment system with phone mirroring, climate control, wireless charger, rear AC vents, rear armrest with cup holders, connected car technology, and of course level 2 ADAS. But it's lacking some feel-good features, things that all its rivals around it have or will get in the near future. Things like 360-degree camera, ADAS, ventilated front seats, power driver's seat, HUD, and this becomes a little more prominent when you consider that its rivals are all SUVs, all offering these features in one form or another halfway up its order and not just on the top spec models. All versions of the Honda City now get 6 airbags as standard. Other safety bits include ABS with EBD, Honda sensing level 2 ADAS technology, a stability program, and ISOFIX child seat mounting points. At the time of doing this video, this updated Honda City across all versions had not been subjected to the latest round of G NCAP or B NCAP crash tests. Now, one of the things you have to contend with if you're going in for the standard petrol Honda City is the fact that there's no diversity in powertrains. There's no CNG option, and diesel was discontinued when Honda switched to BS6 Phase 2. You can of course get a hybrid or eHEV as Honda calls it, but if you look at this petrol manual versus the most basic eHEV, we're talking a difference of almost 2.6 lakh. Even if you look at the automatic versus that entry-level eHEV, the difference is still pretty significant. I mean, the mileage benefits that you get with the eHEV are pretty high, but so is the cost. So we've spent some time with the Honda City and we're going to answer an important question. Should the Honda City be the sedan that you want if you are looking to buy a sedan? Well, yes and no. Yes, because it has a timeless design, it has a great amount of interior space, it gives decent mileage, as well as a good decent driving experience. And of course there's the fact that in this top spec petrol manual, it's the only car that has manual and ADAS together. No, because it's lacking some major feel-good features, all of which its rivals have, and there's no diversity in powertrain options. There's no CNG, and Honda discontinued a diesel option when we switched to BS6 Phase 2. You can of course go in for the hybrid or eHEV as it's known in Honda speak, but if you look at the top of the line petrol manual versus even the most basic eHEV, we're talking a difference of almost 2.6 lakhs. The Honda City is a rival to cars like the Skoda Slavia, Volkswagen Virtus, Maruti Ciaz, and of course the Hyundai Verna. What do you think of the Honda City Petrol Manual? Do let us know in the comment section below. Have we missed anything about the car, or is there something that you want to know specifically? Do let us know about that too in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.